The term wrong views included in general internalist and the nihilist beliefs. And these two are the little bit, we can to say, the wrong views, which are the view contrary to and the outside the teaching of the Dharma City. It is a philosophical perspective, like a eternalist, like something is permanent, unchangeable, forever. And that is maybe is a reality, is there is something a little wrong. And also is the nihilist, and like everything is nothing, emptiness. Maybe it is like a non-existence of the positive, negative, and like a more falling completely like nothingness. And these two are the quite wrong view in the Buddha's teachings perspective. Particularly he is talking about believed that, for example, if I'm thinking this cup or this mandalas, if my mind is holding these mandalas, eternalist, that means it's like forever, permanent, unchangeable. And then this is a little bit wrong. Why? This mandala is not like this. It is not permanent, it is not forever, and this is not single, and like this. Then if I'm holding like a kind of the permanent, single, because one unit, but not single, because there are many particles. And also it's like forever, what does it mean forever? And like it is like maybe birth or death, less something, that is wrong. And this is a wrong view, because it's like later is the reality is coming, and then it's problems, hesitation, and maybe we lost something. Like for example, if I believe the mandala is completely existence, permanent, forever, and some certainly broke, or some certainly old, some certainly, then I say, why? I believe that mandala is like this. Then, and also the mandala is permanent. Mandala is the single. Mandala is forever. How to say it? Mandala hasn't got any activities. For example, mandala, this one's all the times, nothing move. No activity of the mandalas. For example, if I may change a little like this, then mandala is not permanent, changed. And a little bit something moved, and then it's changed. If one rice is missing, then it's changed. And this is obviously not permanent, and not single, many particles. And like this, and sometimes we can to say is the believed something is like a existence in the space, or in the some many like kind of, and also maybe we can to say that sometimes Buddha nature. Maybe Buddha nature, or maybe it's like God, or maybe something else. They think it's like, permanent, unchangeable, and like this, and then it's not very good. Why? Unchanged permanence cannot have any activities. For example, like I'm says against my hand is like this, then it's like handicaps. It's unchangeable like this. And certainly like this, then is my hand is not permanent, it's changed. And if I can to say that my hand or something body is forever permanent, there's no activities. It's no like kind of functionable. And therefore, sometimes some people, some beings, some religious, they believe very much something is existence. You know, it is like, I make the joke, okay? For example, in India, there's like kind of the Hindus religious, and they think Shiva is like forever, permanent. And also it's like this. Then the Buddhists, their philosophies, they argue. And like the Shiva is the creator. Shiva is to do everything. If you offer it to Shiva, and if you believe Shiva, if you like pray to the Shiva, Shiva's Namo Shiva to doing everything for you. Then is Namo Shiva is permanent. Then there is like argumentation. Okay, Namo Shiva. Shiva created everything, but Shiva who is created? One question. If Shiva is the creator, but then it's like permanent things, how to create it? And if a little bit of the moved body, speech, mind, Shiva, then Shiva is like impermanent, changed. And like this. And Shiva is like single? No. Or Shiva manyness. And if you say it's like Shiva is everything's like, okay, and Shiva is my food, I'm going to eat Shiva. No, not like this. And then what? And to say it's like one is a Buddha and his the mother's sister, Mahadidi. And Mahadidi and they are a little bit argue. When he before left to palace, and in the morning he was outside the palace in the balcony Buddha, and he's a little concerning how it is. And then it's like Mahadidi, his like mother sister came to say, my son, what are you thinking? Are you happy? It's Mom, yes, but it's I'm concerned in the old age, sickness, death, and these sufferings. How I can to help? How they can to help? Who can to help? And these questions are put, and she said, don't worry, this is. Shiva is everything. So look, sun is coming, is Shiva. Sun is luminosity, is coming, is Shiva. Sun has warmth, you can to get, is Shiva. Everything is Nama Shiva. It's don't worry, though. It's we can to offering and to pray to the Shiva. Then maybe Shiva, he can do everything. And then it says, make joke, of course, in the Hindus, the Shiva is a man, okay, not a woman, I think so. But for example, sometimes I have in Taiwan one priest. In Europe, I don't want to argue. In Taiwan, I have one priest. We are very good friends. We sometimes make joke each other. And he says, I says, you haven't got any watcher, protect. You are orphanage, he says. Buddhist is, yes, I'm very sorry. We are freedom, but you are not freedom. Someone's watching where is going to use controls. And then, make, and like kind of joke to say, and also it's how to say, the Shiva's ways. And then I says like, what do you mean? It's a permanent or permanent? And you say it's like everything is doing, and then it's like you are slave. I make joke. Okay. And then he don't say nothing like this. Because the first time I met him, he went to in America, 25 or 30 years he studied like our Christianity, like he Catholic priest, he want to become. And then he come back in Taiwan, he want to provoke. And he says, can I visit it? Can we go to the restaurant? May I ask something? If I ask something, please don't become angry. I said, not at all. Whatever you say, I'm not angry. But if I'm giving you answer strange, you cannot become angry. Then he say, oh, never, no anger. Then I like this and say, oh, poor guy, you are not freedom. Someone's watching, I'm afraid. No, sir, someone should to watch to us. Why you need? Big joke. And then is my path. I have resulted. I will become the Buddha. When you become your path, the end result, someone's going to eat you. You are disappeared. And he don't say nothing. Not like this. I make joke. For example, I'm saying the soul is the drop of the come from the God give the drop of the soul. It's just like God is ocean. Our consciousness or the soul is the drop of this water. And the wire like this, and later we are good service with God take and this soul drop of water put in the ocean. That is the enlightenment. Then it's the God take. Then I'm like to make the joke, and someone the ant eating someone. He said, don't say like this. This is not okay. This I make joke, Philosophical debate, you need to say argumentation. Really, for example, in India, Hindus and Buddhist philosophies like argue. Even in the Buddhist perspective, we very much argue. Whatever you have a doubt, whatever you want to say, that you need to say. It is really reasonable, or it is really logical. It is like this. Therefore, for example, now many European people, they say philosophy said, more open, more free, more like kind of you can to debate, and wonderful. Therefore, it's like when you're talking about philosophy, many people like. But if Buddha's teachings, I don't know, it's the philosophy. And it's like if we have a very strong something believe, something existent, this is the eternalism. Maybe then is the end, sometimes we have problems, and then our mind is like a kind of confused. And then is a lot of made mistakes. Then the nihilistic is absolutely worst view. It is a worst wrong view. For example, sometimes no virtue, no virtues, and sometimes like no existence of the good, bad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like maybe we can to see in the Buddhist perspective. Yesterday we talked about essential of the nature of the realities here. The essential of these realities, there is no this kind of exaggeration of the good or bad. But in the essential, the heart core of the true natures, there is the luminosity. We're talking about interdependence. There is inevitable of the causalities we need to take in care. And this we're talking like kind of, talking about the causalities. And therefore, there's a difference. And also in the futures, I want to say is maybe this nihilistic way and eternalism, sometimes different beliefs. When you establish your own Buddha nature, very much to taking care of them. Sometimes these days, many Western lamas, and they say it's like God and Buddha nature is the same. This is not very good. Holiness to say, if we follow the Christian way, only this way, you need to study, you need to know how to practice, how to apply this path to keep exactly this way. If you follow the Buddhist path, you follow the Buddhist path like this. For example, in Tibet, we have the shamanism, Wangpo, and the Buddhism. They choose to your own to weigh them. This one bring to mix it here, this one bring mix it. And then it's the next generation is not very good. And then it's like which one is what it is. Therefore, sometimes when you are thinking about Buddha nature, true nature realities, and there are many different like misinterpretations is coming, and you need to take care. It is like this. Then it's according to the nihilistic view and the eternalism. And then it's like this true beliefs and a little bit opposite of the teaching of the Buddhas. And such a view spoil our mind and prevent us from aspiring to the authentic Dharma. And then it's like a little bit wrong kind of these views, sometimes prevent, it's like kind of making hindrance, make obstacles, and then it's like enter into the authentic Dharma, to the extent that we no longer have the opportunity to practice it, because then it's like hesitated to practice Dharma, there's not really interest. Here in Tibet, this is like just to say that because the second Buddha, the Pema Samba Guru Rinpoche, Undriyanas, like entrusted like kind of the gift, like kind of the kind of subjugated the protection of the land to the 12 temas. And when we are making the sadhana, there is when we make a torma, there's cheto and temas. There's a tema, 12 temas, like kind of spirit. And before they are very much a ghost and like demons. But Guru Rinpoche, he captured them, subjugated them, and to like entrusted them to saying that you should to protect to the in Tibet. And like this, and then is the takers themselves have not really been able to penetrate. It's difficult to enter inside. But of course, and slowly, we don't know really Buddha's teaching. Before the Guru Rinpoche came, Shantarakshita, Bhimalamutta, and great like second Buddha, those great masters. And also we luckily has great the Dharma King Trusam Descents, and they established Buddha's teaching perfectly, really marvelously in Tibet. And until now they are fresh alive, but in the future I'm not sure they continue. And maybe one day it's become the very strange, like kind of, become the culture, become the kind of the very much kind of, how do you say, to festival. It is like showing something, show off. Like once the first time in Tibet is coming that Dharma dancing, is the deity dancing. One I think Sasha Panther was very much hesitated. Or now it's like kind of Dharma show off. And like kind of this. Then slowly it's like Dharma has become the kind of the business tool. And to just, and then it's really hard to call and lost. They say it's like one day Dharma has become the market milk. Market milk, when like Dharma is the first times come from the great cow of the Buddha of the teachings, and the fresh milk, full of the butter inside. And then slowly go to in the market, one business, others they're changing, and then it's really difficult to get real butters. There are a lot of anothers mixed, water and different things. Then is this milk is not really fresh milk, not really. Like this kind of, we don't know them. And this is the, until now, the Guru Rinpoche is like this. However, anyone who is understanding this like that of the Tatika and contrary to that of the authentic Dhamma and the authentic master, all thereby the deprived of the opportunity to practice according to those true teachings. And here is saying, and also it's like looks like, we can to say it's like Dharma practitioners. Seemingly it is like this, and deprived of the opportunity to practice according to those two teachers, but not really some in our times. It's very difficult to practice because we have different wrong idea or the wrong conceptual things, and to really to improperly to practice or purposely, we have a lot of improper conceptual thoughts, wrong thoughts, and then it's difficult to practice purple Dharma. And that is we need to check each moment our mind is. Even we can to say, what does that mean, Dharma? Say? Even Dharma, what does it mean, Dharma? Say? Dharma means it's like virtues, good things, compassion, to develop the wisdoms, to understand the other situations, and how I can to care into others, how I can to make more good to the others. This is Dharma. Dharma is nothing else. When we practice compassion, generate compassion, this is Dharma. And looking at your true natural reality, this is the Dharma. My activity of the body, speech, mind related to the sixth transcendent. This is the Dharma. That is the Dharma. If we do like this, what does it mean, the Dharma? Dharmas can correct our wrong path, astray path, change it into the good path. And therefore, it is again and again to check our body, speech, mind. Am I against it to the, good path or not good path? And if there is going wrong path, we need to correct ourselves. Now body, speech, mind is not good because in the body, speech, mind follow the wrong path. Then this is the teaching of the Dharma. And when we follow the right path, we are training our body, speech, mind. That is the Buddha's teaching. That is the Dharma. That is the benefit for us. And then it's correct. And also it's we don't know what is the right path, what is the wrong path. And there is not much distinctions between them. Then we need to study Buddha's teaching, telling to us right the wrongs. Or sometimes you have doubt, what do you mean right or wrong? Who can to say like this? We need to obviously to check to the, what is the kind of the making happy to us. All of them is the right. When I eat some green things, it's a benefit for me or not? It is medicinal, it's make healthy, it's really good, eatable, it's a right plant. If some plant, if I eat, I'm sick, I'm dying, this is a wrong plant. This is right, is wrong, there is existence. We say it's like a virtue, no virtue. Say, this is the religious word. What are you talking about, right or wrong? Say, right or wrong means it's for example, if someone's to punch to us, it's wrong because it's pain. It's not good. If someone's kindly to kiss to us, it's right, fantastic. We smiling, it's happy. Exactly like this. Right is wrong is not religious word. Right is wrong, we need to searching to make really what is the right, really is what is the wrong. For example, when we go to in the chemistries and the drug show, how to say, it's medicines. And there are many, many medicines. Maybe it's all those medicines, maybe not remedy for our sickness. Maybe it's when we have some sickness, maybe one medicine can corresponding our sickness. And we need to pick up these medicines. I'm headache, I can to pick up any medicine to eat. This is incorrect. It doesn't work. This is the relative realities. That is a kind of, we need to think about that. Then, for example, in the Buddhist perspective, we need to more and more think like this. I need to pray Buddha? No necessary. Do I need to faith to the teachers? Or I need to devotion to the teachers? Not at all. Then what I need? oh, that says you should to check your body, speech, mind. So that is the most important. And some is like best to something do, making the police to the Buddha, Bodhisattva teachers, where that means then we need to correct ourselves. And we become the genuine kindness, compassion, knowledgeable, is like to coming, then they are pleased. Doing the positive, maybe when we doing the positive, which is the reality benefit for the Buddha and Bodhisattvas or the teachers, this positive maturation is never taken by themselves. The maturation of the positive things are coming to in our own shoulder. But they are compassionate. When we do the positive things, then they are happy, they pleased. And we do the negative things, how we can do harm to them? You know, is we do such negative things, they're nothing harm. But of course they are compassionate, they are very sad. But then it's a maturation to our own. Some time to time we need to tell into ours. And that is the Dharma. Sometimes, talking about faith, devotion, or I need to listen to teachers, obey, complicate. Forget it. We need to this. But how I can to make myself to genuine? How I can to make meaningful my freedoms? I'm like now is the great human existence. How I can to make more meaningful? How I can to make some important task. This task is to make the happy next tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Then, for example, if we today do such negative things, and then it's maybe tomorrow we need to injured by the sufferings, then is sufferings occurring, who can to help? Who can to taking care? That is the big problem, kind of. There's many logically you can to talk. For example, you know, it's like Buddha, he went to in the Niranjanas, and he asked many scholars, like his best practitioners, the Hindu yoga and masters and yogis, some yoga and yogis in the river banks and the step of the rocks and the forest. They wearing the white cloth, carrying the stick, long beard, long hair, and to say, Om, say it. And then he asked, it's like, okay, and who can to help to ours? Suffering of the birth, old age, sickness, death. Oh, don't worry, you can to look in the sky to pray, someone's coming to help to use it. And then it's very difficult to believe that if someone's possible to have this kind of strength, power, then why they don't do like this, see? And then of course he's asked to many different, then finally he wasn't satisfied. He went to own path and he discovered the true nature of the realities, the truth of true nature. Like this, ourselves, we need to correct them. Sometimes it's like yesterday he said, oh Lama, think of me. Oh Buddha, think of me. And could you please to kind of send direct to in the pure land of the Amitabha. But myself I can't do the virtues. I'm like, that is incorrect like this. And like this, then is to check the again and again. This is like same way. Here's the monk, the Suna Shara, spent 25 years as the Lord Buddha's attendant, and yet because he did not have the slightest faith and held only wrong views, and they ended up being reborn as the Purita in flower gardens. And it's like maybe it's like some different. There is Devadatta, or sometimes different. Also has his his one tendency, and of course was with 25 years of Buddha, but he all the time considered Buddha is like wrong something. And whatever Buddha said, it doesn't go under his heart. And then what Buddha can do is even like this. He's nearby there is the really a living Buddha is there, but the living Buddhas cannot do like this if this person cannot to change. And like the finally, he's reborn in the Parita, in the flower garden. And like this, it's like we don't change, who can to change ours? And if we don't do the positive things, who can give to us happiness? And when we follow the teachers and listen to the teachings, teachers teaching says how we can to collect the positive things, how to abandon and the negative things. And like this, I'm now sleeping, something wrong. Can you provoke me? Would you like to argue with me? If you argue with me, I'll be very happy.